Welcome back to All In. The last series I tried to break 15 minutes for 5k and finally did it with 14:46. This time I'm turning my attention to the marathon. Valencia Marathon in December. My current PB is 2 hours and 29 minutes and I'm going to do everything I can, leave no stone unturned to get as close to 2:20 as I can. Thank you to Soar Running for sponsoring this series. The support and belief from Soar is amazing, their kit's incredible. If you want to get 15% off, then use the code TWR15. I can't wait to take you along the journey for this marathon block. I am going to try and just cover everything in as much depth as I can, all the different aspects that go into a marathon training block. I will be doing weekly vlogs, training vlogs, and also some interesting things like talking to coaches and physiological testing. So stay tuned for an epic marathon training block and let's see how close I can get to 2:20. Let's get stuck in. Day one of the Valencia Marathon block. Starting with a very nice easy run on the trails. Yesterday was kind of hard, so this is just an 8-mile recovery run. Nice and slow, keeping the heart rate down. And yeah, let's get stuck into this block and see how fit I can get, how strong I can get, and what I can do in Valencia. Vamos! There we go, nice and slow for the first run of the block. 9-minute miling on the trails. I think the heart rate average was about 123. Very nice and easy, just listen to a podcast. The block has started. Hopefully the legs will come back to me after yesterday and we can go all in for this Valencia block. Day 2, back out on the trails. So Tuesday will normally be my session day, but I want to recover properly from Cardiff half first. Still a bit of tightness in the calves. So just easy, steady if I feel good later in the run on the trails. Oh, it's breezy. You're not going to hear any of this, so I won't include it. So I'll be keeping it nice and easy on the trails. One of the important things for this block is going to be volume. So loads and loads of aerobic volume, lots of running, and I'll be adding some cycling as well, just to try and get really, really aerobically strong, with lots of marathon sessions and long runs to top it off. This is a good time to thank you to Soar Running, who are the sponsor of this Valencia Marathon series. So thank you for Soar Running and believing me and kitting me out for this series. If you haven't tried Soar Running, then I really, really recommend it. And you can ask anyone that's tried Soar Running how good the stuff is. Once you've tried it, you'll never want to go back. It just feels so premium, so good, so light. So today I'm wearing a long sleeve top to stay nice and warm because it's getting a bit colder on the trails, and some really nice dual shorts. And this hill's taken out of me a little bit, but yeah. We'll talk about the Soar Running kit in other vlogs and later in this vlog probably. But if you haven't tried it, just try any one of their items and you'll feel the difference in quality compared with the competitors. Whew. Anyway, back to the run. So that's 10 miles done, nice and easy on the trails. Nothing really to report. Heart rate I think was maybe 130-ish. I don't really look at it, I only look at it afterwards because I can tell what's easy and what's not. And to be honest, even if I'd gone a little bit steadier today, it wouldn't have mattered because I'm not doing a session tomorrow. 3 easy days, and then I'll think about a session on Thursday. So every morning it's getting a little bit colder. It has been raining, but it's cleared up now. So yeah, I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna do 10 miles again. I'd love to go on the trails, but it's so hilly and I need to balance out the amount of elevation I'm doing with some flatter runs. I've increased my elevation loads over the last couple of months, but I can't do everything on the hills. So I will just do some boring road loops. It'll probably be about 7 minutes of miling, there or thereabouts to keep it easy. Roads. Tomorrow I've got something exciting. I've got physiological testing. I'll discuss that in more detail later in the vlog. It'll have its own dedicated vlog as well because I really want to go into a bit of depth about what I'm testing, why I'm testing, and how it'll help this vlog. But for now, let's get out, bank 10 miles with the podcast. run, 5.5 miles rather than 10. Basically, my glute is tight. As I was saying, I'm doing a lot of elevation, and sometimes this does cause my glutes to get tight because they're working hard on the hills. But I'm finding that the tightness of my glute is affecting my biomechanics when I'm running. If it was just a tight glute, I'd probably run through it. But the fact that it's impacting my biomechanics and making me run a little different is like a warning sign. So I was meant to double today anyway. So what I'll do is I've just done 5 miles. I'll go home, get on with my day or whatever. But later on I'll get a ball into that glute, try and release it. And normally just 10-15 minutes of like self-massage will sort the issue, and then I'll do my double later. I'll do 8 to 10 miles later. So it'll be a nice, good, high volume day. But if I can sort the glute issue, it'll mean that I'm not running in a weird way, which can cause bigger issues down the line. So yeah, that's basically my summary of why I've stopped the run about half a mile from home. Walk home now, sort the issue for later, and carry on banking the miles. Listen up, running geeks. We need to talk. Today, I've come to London and I'm gonna get tested out with my vital metrics to find out what I can learn and put into practice in my marathon training. So yesterday was only the VO2 max test, so it wasn't very much running. I think I only covered about 2 miles. I will go into detail about the VO2 max test, the results, and all my thoughts about that in its own designated vlog. But today I am jumping on the treadmill for a session. I love the treadmill. I can compare runs against each other. I like to mix in treadmill and outdoor running. So I am gonna do today 20K, maybe a cool down as well. 5K just steady to get started. Then 5K at 17 kilometers an hour, 5K at 17 and a half, 5K at 18 kilometers an hour to make 20K, and then maybe a cool down. That is, so 17 is like 5:40 pace, 17 and a half is 5:30, and 18 is like 5:22. So I'm starting at the sort of marathon shape I'm probably in now, which is about 5:40 shape, maybe 2:30 shape. That sort of fitness, I don't have the long runs in my legs to actually deliver that marathon, but I feel like I'm in that sort of fitness. And then I will increase the pace to almost like where I want my marathon to be. And what I'll do is I've got my heart rate monitor on, and I will see what the heart rate is on the treadmill for those different intensities, which is a great thing to do because I can do this in 3-4 weeks time and see if I'm improving, how those paces feel then. And yeah, just compare. It's a controlled environment, so it's great to compare. So yeah, 20K, pretty hard effort coming up. Got headphones in, listen to some music, and yeah, tick this off. The other thing I'm doing, I forgot to say, this block I will be talking about nutrition in some detail. But one of the things that I want to address in my fueling is trying to take on more carbs per hour. It's something I've always struggled with. I think in my best marathons I've only ever had 3 gels, equaling about 66 grams over the whole race. So that's like 20 odd grams per hour of carbs, which is really low, but is really common as well amongst us runners. Whereas some cyclists take up to 120 grams an hour, and the recommendation has gone up from 90 grams an hour to trying to get 100 grams an hour with the new fuel technologies. So today I'm going to be using Morten gels. I prefer the drinks, but I will not have drinks on the route in Valencia, so I will take gels today, and I'm going to try and take one at every 5K. And I'm going to find that really difficult to stomach, but I'm going to try and train my gut in this block to deal with carbs at high intensities a lot better. So I'll be running at that sort of marathon intensity and pushing on and seeing if I can handle 3 gels today. I think it is 5, 10, 15K. I won't take one at 20K when I'm finishing, there's no point. So I'll take 3 gels, which will be 75 grams of carbs. And yeah, I will try and build up to try and see what the perfect fueling strategy is for me. As I stated, I will go into a lot more detail about fueling, what fuel I'm going to use, how I'm going to use it in the block. I'll do that in another episode. This whole block is going to be going into detail with everything. There's going to be some fun episodes, but there's also going to be some really geeky ones where I do deep dives and talk about everything I'm thinking about, where I try and approach the marathon from all the different angles. But first, let's get this run done, see how I fare, and I'll talk to you in a bit. Oh, that was very sweaty. So that went really well. Ticked off all the splits, felt aerobically really comfortable. Even with it getting really sweaty and hot in the garage, I didn't drift that much heart rate, even though the pace was increasing every 5K. Felt so controlled aerobically, but my legs felt very tired. So there's a lot of work to do. Aerobically I felt great, but that muscular endurance, that I'm gonna need in the marathon in my muscles, because so many people are fit enough to run a good time, but then their muscles just haven't got the distance and they fade towards the second half. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of long, hard runs in this block and really trying to get my body and legs ready to go the whole distance. Today was only 21K, and I noticed my legs really starting to fatigue early in that run. But I did get a really good run in, good training benefit. The gel sat really well, which was nice. I think it's because my heart rate was a lot lower than I was expecting, but what I ended up doing is not every 5K, but every 16 minutes. Every 16 minutes I had a gel. I got through 3 gels in 48 minutes. And then I did have a Morten 320 drink, which I won't be having on the day because I won't have it out on the course, but I wanted to see if I could tolerate a bit more carbs. So when it ticked over an hour, I started drinking that as well and had no issue with stitches, no issue with GI issues. So that was a good sign. But it's early days and I'll be practicing a lot. It's expensive to practice with gels, but if it means that I get a good marathon, then it's definitely worth it. Another good thing about the treadmill is it gets so hot, so I do get a little bit used to the heat even in the winter months. So if we get a freak hot day in Valencia in December, which I really hope we don't, it's an early start as well in Valencia, so I'm hoping it's nice, cool conditions. But if it is a little bit warm, hopefully a few of these treadmill runs will help me deal with the heat, because I am rubbish when it's warm. I wore the shoes that I'll be wearing in the marathon, the Alphafly version 1. Not a huge fan of the version 2. They're okay, but I just prefer the version 1. So I need to buy another pair of the version 1 before they just become extinct. Otherwise I'll be wearing an old pair, because right now they're the shoe that I've done all my PBs in. I'm flying in them, so yeah, that's the shoe I want to go with. Overall, just really happy with that run. A nice place to be in, just, well, less than 9 weeks out. Fitness is good. Still a lot of work to do, but I know how much you can develop in 8 weeks. But I am going to have to put a lot of miles in, a lot of these harder long runs to really condition myself. Right, I'm going to go and get some protein and some carbs in now to start the recovery. And yeah, a good day. Long run tomorrow is going to be tough, but yeah, it's gonna be required. I'm going to go with an easier long run tomorrow on the trails after the harder effort today. So I decided this morning that I would change my long run from today to tomorrow. My legs are really tired. So I am out on the trails doing 10 miles, nice and easy. It's a beautiful morning. It's cold, which is nice. Cold conditions are coming, which means fast times. Means training's easier. Although I'm sure the wind and rain is on its way too. Right, I've got a couple of miles back home, breakfast and a day with the family. Good morning, it's Sunday, it's long run day, and today I'm not quite sure how far I'm going. Between 30 and 40k steady. So in this block I'm going to be doing some long runs which are going to be up tempo, really kind of pushing hard long runs, and then I'm going to be doing some which are just steady but a bit longer. The aim of today's run is to let the volume be the big stress. For those faster, shorter long runs, I'm going to be fueling and again trying to train my gut as I did on the treadmill. But today it's gel free. I've had breakfast, so I'm pretty well fueled going into it, but I will also let that be a secondary stress where I won't take any gels on. So by the end of this run I'll be pretty glycogen depleted, which will stress and embarrass the body, and hopefully it'll adapt and deal with long runs and being a bit more fuel efficient in future. So yeah, 30 to 40k, we'll see how I feel. We're on the trails, steady effort.
I will do that to feel. I know how I want it to feel. I haven't got a clue what pace it'll be. I won't be looking at pace. It'll all be about trying to get the effort right. So it's an honest long run, but without sort of like pushing like some of the marathon paced or near marathon paced long runs that I'll also be doing. So I'll be doing these longer ones on the trails and then the faster ones on the flat on the roads. So yeah, looking forward to it. Going to be listening to a podcast. I feel like if I listen to music, I can get too carried away and go a bit quick. If I listen to nothing, which I normally do in sessions and faster long runs, then also I can get a bit carried away because I'm just focusing on the run. Whereas when I listen to a podcast, I chill out a bit and just keep it steady. So yeah, got recovery drink and everything ready for when I finish. Start the recovery process straight away. But yeah, the stress of a long run with no gels. To be honest, these are my least favourite runs. I normally like to tick off this sort of run with Andy, Forest Dean runner. So much easier with company for these steady long runs. But got to get them done. He's recovering from London, so yeah, it's just me on my own, getting it done. And we'll see how it goes.
I've only done this trail once before with Harry in the buggy and running it without the buggy. This trail is dreamy. Oh, so good. Undulating, but never too steep and never too long on the uphills. Just really get rolling. This is going to be perfect strength builder. Long runs on this. Hopefully it will really pay off. Decided I'll make it 30k. I'll press a little bit in this 4k. I'm allowed 30k banked. Good run, tough course. I'm hoping it'll make me really strong and even stronger than when I drop down to the flat.
And we're done, 30k. Really enjoyed that. Tough route, but so nice, just rolling hills. It's like a dance move, isn't it? Whee! Not one of my dance moves, mine are a lot better than that. But yeah, 640 average, heart rate was average less than 150, which I thought would be a bit higher today than that. Fitness is coming, definitely. Pushed on in the last 5k, so the last 5k was my fastest 5k. I think it was my only sub 25k in that. So what's that, low 6 pace? Yeah, just really happy, really solid 30k. Legs are tired now, just down to protein shake, mixed with carbs. It's always good to get a mixture of carbs and protein in when you finish. It just starts that recovery process. So fill my legs back up with the glycogen and get the protein to help the muscles repair. And yeah, just a good start to this marathon block. A decent week. Volume isn't as high as the rest of the block hopefully will be, but I had to recover from Cardiff half on Sunday. And I had that really low volume day where I did the VO2 max test, only 2 miles done. If I'd known how, not easy it was, but like how short the test was going to be, maybe I would have done a run beforehand. They did say not to do a run before, but I feel like I lost a day of training there. But it's okay, still a decent week. I don't even know what the volume is, I haven't checked. It's probably about 75 miles or something. So yeah, a decent week, but we need to increase that volume, and I did want to add in some cycling as well to just increase that aerobic condition a little bit without the massive pounding, because I want to be doing like 100 miles a week plus cycling as like a bonus, plus some strength, plus everything else. You know, we are going all in, so it's going to have to be everything. I hope you enjoyed my first week of this Valencia Marathon block. I'm excited. I feel like I'm the fittest I ever have been starting a marathon block. And I'm excited to delve into all the different aspects of marathon training and see if I can nail this one. Follow along, see how I do. Leave any comments in the comment section. What you want to see, what you think about marathon training, how you break it up. Just anything you think will add to the discussion, and we can get in the comments and have a chat about it. Until next week, enjoy your running and see you then.